the kind of guy that Ehud was. He wasn't the obvious choice for a hero. People saw him as weak, as from a bad family, and from a people who didn't have a good reputation. And so Ehud was one of these guys who he carried tribute to Eglon. Tribute was like taxes. So Eglon would say, hey, I need this much percent of your crops. And so the Israelites would send Ehud and a couple of other guys to give him a percentage of the crops or the agricultural goods. And so on the way, Ehud says, let me take a sword. That's interesting. Supposed to be giving him some agricultural goods, and he decides to take a sword with a blade that's 1.5 feet long, and he straps it to his right thigh. Now, I don't know about you, but 1.5 feet blade strapped to my right thigh would make me very nervous. It's kind of like these guys. I used to, back in the day in the hood, they used to carry guns in their waist. I'd be like, man, if that thing goes off, whoo, give me a holster, man. And so Ehud straps this 1.5 feet blade to his right thigh. And he goes and gives tribute to Eglon. He gives him the goods. And then he turns back to Israel. He goes back to where he's from. And then he stops and says, hey, guys, why don't you go ahead on without me? And they go on off without him. He goes to the king and he says, I have a message for you, O king. I have a message for you. And if you look, verse 19, it says he turned back at the idols near Gilgal. So we got to get into Eglon's mind here. He goes off, Ehud goes off, he stops at idols, and then he turns back and says, I have a message. Eglon is thinking, you have a message from these gods, these idols. You have a prophecy for me. You're going to tell me all of these great and good things about me, Eglon. And so you have Eglon there, and he's saying, okay, I want to hear this. This sounds like it's going to be good. He tells all of his servants, get out of here. You don't need to hear this. This is grown folks' business. And so you have Ehud with this sword strapped to his right thigh. You have Eglon waiting, anticipating this message, this word from the gods. Ehud walks in and they're alone in this summer palace, the lap of luxury. Eglon is thinking, what bad thing could happen to me here? It's like being at Sandals Resort. Eglon anticipates this word. And what do we see? Ehud taking his left hand and reaching for the sword strapped to his right thigh, the sword that the guards forgot to check because everybody else is right-handed. And they would have a sword strapped to their left thigh. So he takes the sword with the 1.5 feet long blade. He takes it, and Eglon rises up. What word do you have for me? And Ehud starts marching towards him. He grabs the blade. He stabs him. The whole blade, 1.5 feet long. Eglon's belly swallows it up. Says he was a very fat man. He swallows it up. And you got to think, what's going on in Eglon's mind? I thought this was a prophecy. I thought this was something good. I thought you were going to tell me how many blessings I would have. But he gets a message, and it's a message of judgment. Ehud locks the doors. He runs away. And the guards are standing there. Wonder what message he gave them. You know how it is when somebody has a secret. Like, oh, I can't let you know about this. But your mind starts wondering. I wonder. Is he going to tell them he's going to get more money? Is he going to tell them that he's going to have many more children? And time goes by and they're still standing there. They kind of look at each other. They look a little worried, but they know that that room is a bathroom. And you know how it is. They're kind of like, okay, he's taking a while. Let's give him a minute. They're waiting. And then you know things get embarrassing after a while. Like, okay, he's still in the bathroom. We better check on him. Eglon, King Eglon, are you there? They hear nothing. What's going on with the king? They open the doors. He's lying there, dead, immobilized, in a pool of his own blood. They didn't know it. They didn't expect it. It was mysterious. And Ehud escapes. He goes off to the hills. He sounds his trumpet. The people in the hills hear the trumpet. The Israelites, the soldiers. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. They come marching down the hills. They stop at the River Jordan. And all of the Moabite soldiers come out, 10,000 of them. And they just stand their ground at the river and start hacking away. It's a bloody mess. And the Israelites save the day. All because of Ehud, an unlikely hero with some unusual methods in an impossible situation. It sort of reminds me of another unlikely hero with unusual methods in an impossible situation. Reminds me of a man who was born in a stable in a manger in Bethlehem, an unlikely hero who was from a city that people said, what good can come out of it? An unlikely hero who never wrote a book, who never had an army, whose followers all deserted him. An unlikely hero with unusual methods. He died so we could be free. He was put on a tool of execution. For the Roman people, they saw it as a tool of execution. They saw him as a criminal. For the Jews, they saw it as a tool, as a curse. Cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. Those are some unusual methods. It says, the Bible says that by his stripes we're healed. By his wounds, healing. Unusual methods in an impossible situation to save us, who every time we breathe, we probably sin.